is up? I know it's been so long, guys, and I've missed you so much, but life has been super busy. Sorry for the time that I've been away, but I am back now. It is August. It is currently Leo season. Shout out to all my Leos out there. And if there is a special Leo loved one in your life, give them love, give them the praise that they deserve and want and crave, and so on and so forth. But let's get into this video. Today's topic, we're talking about a couple of things. Um, we're talking about hate crimes. We're talking about the anxiety of Black people in America, and just all around the things that come with this current racial climate. So, without further ado, let's get into the topic. As you guys know, there's been a lot of media coverage about the BART station stabbing of Nia Wilson. So, on just to refresh it, on July 22nd, a white man killed a black woman at a BART station in Oakland, California. Nia Wilson, who was 18, was switching trains with her sister Latifah Wilson, who was 26, and where that stabbing occurred. She was stabbed to death, and her sister was injured by the stabbing. Her sister didn't die, but Nia did. And the suspect, known as John Howell, was charged with murder and attempted murder. So at least there's some sense of justice in that. But the basis of my video today is about the aftermath of the stabbing, murder, so on. So in true media fashion, they got a hold of the story, and they kind of ran with the trend of victimizing, or demonizing rather, Black victims. So this 18-year-old girl was, it was a report. They were reporting the situation, but they chose to use a photo of her holding a cell phone which was shaped like a gun. And as we both know and understand, as we all know and understand, it just made her look bad instead of like an innocent person. And then all these things come out. Oh, she had a dark past, and just a lot of stupid things that make people feel a little less sympathy for her being murdered. A little less the people, meaning the white people who don't care about us, Black and brown folk. So, like in other cases, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, the list goes on, the Black victims whose lives were taken are now under scrutiny and all of these things. So a hashtag has started, and it's called If They Gunned Me Down. And in my research, in this time of thinking, I wanted to know if it were to unfortunately happen to me, what would they go through on my Instagram to get to the photo that they would want to use to demonize me as a criminal. So I took a look through my Instagram, my feed, and this is what I came up with. So this video is just like me scrolling through my timeline on my phone, and I recorded it. And honestly, in scrolling through my own feed, I realized I am kind of a boring individual, in a sense of I don't party, I don't go out, I don't do wild things, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, like a lot of my pictures consist of food, motivational quotes, um, TV shows. I don't take a lot of selfies because I don't think that I'm cute. So um, when there is a selfie, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm feeling my hair today. Oh, I like this shirt that I'm wearing. This is simple. And on the outside looking in, I wanted to kind of just scroll through and see what would these people think of me, not knowing me, just looking at the outer shell, looking at just another black face. You know what I mean? And as unfair as it seems and as unfair as it feels, um, a lot of us don't necessarily have a life to them. We're just fixtures. We're just these mythical creatures, in a sense, that for the longest, our lives did not and still kind of don't matter. And yes, we're getting all this like coverage and footage, and those movements have begun. They've been going on since, civil rights movement, civil rights time period. And it's taken, that was what, the 60s? It's taken 50 years for us to get to where we are. And people are still looking at us as if we're subhuman in some cases. In a lot of cases, we're looked at as, we're looked down upon. And it's unfair that regardless of our individual stories, regardless of our individual passions and talents and drives, we're still seen as that black-faced person, that person with dark skin, that person that with kinky hair, that person, that thug, that just as subhuman. And I kind of wanted to shed light on this topic because I'm not a political person at all. I don't get into a lot of topics of that nature. But when something is too consistent or strikes a chord, I kind of want to speak up. And in this case, I'm doing so. So I just took down a couple of notes. And like I said, I just kind of wanted to decompress and kind of unpack these emotions, if you will. So, as I said before, for centuries, black people, we've been trying to get from under the thumb of the oppressors. This is black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, just any type of minority. And with this Trump thing going on, it's even worse and it's more heightened. The racism is more heightened. And if you do not believe this, just look at the news. Take a look at your surroundings. Go ask people questions. If you feel like people are just making this up or crazy or whatever, go ask a few people some questions and strike up conversation and see where it leads, because a lot of this stuff is crazy and scary. So, we haven't mattered. Black and brown people have not mattered. Minorities have not mattered. Immigrants have not mattered. And now with the recent, climate, like I said, with Trump and the Black Lives Matter movement, unarmed black people getting killed for no reason by cops, by white people, by vigilantes, and with the unfair coverage, I think it's time for us to all kind of, one, take a look at ourselves, two, open our eyes to the craziness that is happening and that has been happening, and just kind of be aware of our surroundings. I was This must have been a week or two ago, maybe more so a week ago. And I experienced a little bit of anxiety, and that's what inspired this video. So, I just needed to get out of the house because, as I've mentioned in other videos, I've become sort of a homebody. I've become more of a hermit, and I've been trying to challenge myself more as to get out of the house and do more exciting or just break the monotony. Not even, it doesn't have to be exciting things, just get out the house sometimes. So I decided to get out of the house, and I went and I ended up getting some Chinese food, and I was like, I can just park and eat, which I've done on several occasions throughout my life. And a lot of people do it. A lot of people have done it. So I was sitting in the parking lot at a shopping center, and I was eating, and I had my music on and just minding my business. And then the thought dawned on me. I was sitting there by myself in a well-lit, it was daytime. It must have been about 2 in the afternoon. So it wasn't a dangerous time to be, or a peculiar time to be sitting in a parking lot, eating food, listening to my music. But with all these things that have happened lately in the news and whatever, something kind of sparked in my mind, and I said, what if one of these cars driving by, what if these cars driving by noticed me as this just one black person sitting here eating my food and listening to music, which wasn't loud, by the way. I have this phobia of blasting my music. If I'm not driving, I need to turn my volume down, because I feel like a perpetuated stereotype, and I don't want to feel that way. So I was in the parking lot eating my Chinese food, and I was clearing my head because I was kind of stressed. I had a few things on my mind, and a rush of fear came over me, like, honestly. And I thought to myself, like, what if one of these passerbys was a racist? And what if I was minutes away from taking my last breath? Then that sparked this idea, and I said, okay, that whole Nia Wilson situation happened, and they used sort of an aggressive photo, even though it wasn't a real gun. It was a cell phone case shaped like a gun. They used the worst picture that they could find of her, which was unfair. And I said, well, I wonder if this happened to me, what photo would they decide to use? And, like, honestly, I scrolled through my timeline, but this is me being me and knowing myself and knowing my story. And I was like, I'm not a threat at all. I don't have photos of me out partying and getting wasted and doing crazy stuff, and I don't have a record. I don't have any of that would depict the demonization of myself. But then I said, let me remove myself from myself and let the people decide. So, as you've been listening to me and watching my feed go by, what is your, like, standout photo that you feel they would take and misconstrue and depict in a negative fashion? I'm kind of curious. At the end of this video, I will post a couple of photos that I've taken screenshots of that I think that they may use to portray me in more of a negative light. But I thought this was an interesting topic, and I want to know, you guys, you tell me, have you ever felt any rushes of anxiety while doing regular folk stuff? Have you ever felt any type of paranoia while just living your life, just being you. Like, I hear sometimes these stories about people at the cafeteria getting the police called on them at college. There's stories about the lady who was studying outside of her dorm room and the cops got called on her. It's become an excessive thing and it's ridiculous. And I really urge people to stop and think about what they're doing before they literally ruin lives and end lives potentially. So, again, I thank you guys so much for bearing with me. This video, I just needed to get this off my chest because it was bothering me, and I needed to just unpack the emotions and just kind of let it out and vent a little bit, because a lot of things are unnecessary. And if we don't start talking about them, if we don't start addressing them, they will continue. Like they say, history repeats itself. And who wants to, like, they don't have power? Who wants to feel like their life doesn't matter? Who wants to feel like they're not important in the sense of, just being seen and being heard? Nobody wants to feel that way. So, in order for us to have a more valuable, more enriched life, I urge each and every one of you, when you feel like something's unfair is going on, speak up, say something, because that could be the difference between a tragedy and a triumphant moment. So, again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning into this, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to hear your feedback. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. I encourage you all to live your best lives. I encourage you also to try your best at living without being in fear, especially in simple moments. I'm working on that. I'm trying to push myself every day to just do a little more, to do a little more of value, and just to do a little more to challenge myself, because I've gotten complacent and I've gotten a little fearful, and I used to be very optimistic and fearless, and that part of me is gone, and I want to bring it back and attain it more in my 30s. I'm too young to be this paranoid, but I understand the reason behind it, because of these surroundings, because of these anxieties. I just want to open up the discussion. So let me know what you guys think, how you guys feel in the comments below. I'd love to get that conversation started. And again, I'm so grateful and happy that you have joined me today. I want to encourage you guys to have a great day, a great weekend, whatever time of the week, whatever time of the day it is. Live your best life. Enjoy your life. You are valuable and you are necessary. Thanks again for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time, guys.